Hey guys! So if you've seen the title of this video, you know that I'm going to be applying to grad school. I always knew I was going to be going to grad school. I just wasn't sure exactly when, and I totally did not think I was going to be applying for this upcoming cycle. For those who are new to my channel, I am an undergrad, I am in my final year, and I'm a double major in psychology and cognitive science. I've spent the last couple of months now having lots of conversations. That's the first thing I'll say to anyone who's considering grad school, whether it's medical school, law school, business, PhD or master's program, what have you. Have conversations with the people who know you well. Talk to your parents, talk to your family, friends, especially if they're in the field you're looking to get into. Talk to professors, to teacher assistants who are likely grad students themselves, to anyone who makes the most sense for you. Think a lot about financial info. Is it worth investing a lot of time and or money into another degree program to earn a better salary, to get a better job, to have greater career flexibility? Really think about what makes sense for you. So for me, I will be applying to a mix of master's programs and PhD programs, hoping I get into at least one, because it's a pretty long road as someone who wants to be in academia for a long time. And I'm already 21, I'll be 22 when I graduate, and I don't want to be in school until I'm like into my 30s. So that's sort of what I'm up to right now. So one of the first things that you're going to want to do when deciding to apply to graduate school is first figure out what components of the application exist. You're going to want to know what materials will be expected of you. For me, I have to worry about standardized testing, letters of recommendation, a personal statement, diversity statement, all sorts of things. So you want to really make sure that you know what all the big things are that you are up against. So once you know everything that's expected of you, I went ahead and looked up a recommended timeline for applicants for programs that I'm interested in. And I'm someone who really likes to plan and really likes to have everything on paper. So I've put down a couple of major goals and milestones that I want to focus on per month until my first major deadline, which is December 1st. And this is just sort of a self-accountability system. I'm writing a note to myself at the beginning of every month to go ahead and check back in with myself on what have I accomplished, what can I do better, what else do I need to work on, just because I do not want to be having most of my energy being focused on applications when it's like October and November and I'm in the midst of midterms and juggling online classes, and I'd like to make the most of my time I have now before the school year starts. So if you're someone that a timeline makes sense for and it's not going to stress you out, you can even do it digitally and just write out for yourself on a Google Doc of the things that you want to have done and when, just because it's a ton to do and you can't prepare all of your materials in just 1 month. And that brings me to my first big thing that I have to spend a lot of energy on, which is studying for the GRE. I'm avoiding the psychology GRE subject test because I just don't want to spend a lot of energy on it, and there aren't that many programs that require it. But the GRE I do have to take, and just to give you guys an idea, I'm taking it first week of August, and I started studying at the beginning of May, and I will be making another video soon about everything I'm doing to prepare for the GRE, just because I'm doing a lot of different things, so stay tuned for that. Thank you to Genially for sponsoring today's video and also for hosting a rad giveaway for you guys. Genially is this really cool software that you can use to create any sort of digital visual information in any way. So you can use it for personal branding, which is what I'm going to be doing with my CV/resume. You can also use it for presentations, for infographics, for design projects, for graphics that you need for projects. I am also thinking about using it for my thesis presentations and proposals for later on this year. Okay, so this giveaway is going to have 5 winners, and each person is going to win a 6-month Education Pro subscription to Genially. So you have unlimited access to their templates, all of the resource library. You can create as many things as you want, organize it into folders, download as PDFs, JPEGs, Also have like your own private links to things. You can insert audio and even import things from PowerPoint that you can go ahead and edit and upgrade in a sense. So the only thing that you have to do to enter the giveaway is simply comment down below what you would make and what you would create with your Genially subscription. I will be randomly choosing 5 lucky winners by this day next week, and I will also put all of the rules in the description box below in case if you missed something. But good luck. I hope you guys choose to enter. All right, so I just wanted to show you guys how I am creating my CV with the Genially software, and I'm just doing sort of, it's almost like a slideshow, but it works like an entire video. It's really, really cool, and I'm just having different sections for like my education, for related coursework, for different research experiences I've had, and I really like this idea of putting it like a timeline and being able to add more details. Afterwards, I'm doing sort of just research products, so I have sections for publications, grants, presentations, posters, things like that. And then I have sections for student engagement, for work experience, all sorts of things. And I will be filling in the rest of my info later on. But so far, I'm really happy with it. It's so easy to use, and I'm really excited to be finishing that portion of my application as well. So both studying for the GRE and then all of the rest of the things I'm talking about in this video totally should happen like concurrently. Don't limit yourself to doing one at a time. I think that's really exhausting. And some of the things that you're working on will sort of inform the other things. So something else I'm doing is sort of narrowing down what schools and programs I am most likely applying to. So I have this giant spreadsheet going on Google Sheets, and I just have like 4 tabs underneath. The first is for master's programs. So I will be applying to master's programs probably in January and February, depending on my interviews that I get or don't get for PhD programs, just because they're notoriously difficult to get into. And I just want to make the smart decision to also apply to master's programs as both a backup, but also as another option depending on my outcomes. So I have a couple of columns, very, very simple, very straightforward, in which I have the school name, the type of degree, like whether it's a Master of Arts or Master of Science, the type of program, so whether it's experimental psych, general psych, clinical mental health counseling, and then I have some information about financial status, I guess, because some programs are fully funded, some are very much not, and then sort of my chances of getting in based on the average GPA and average GRE scores of accepted applicants, as well as the due date, because those vary a lot more than PhD programs. And then along the side, I have just a couple of extra notes for myself. And just so you guys know, I am just like blurring out the info within the columns just because I take my privacy pretty seriously, and also I don't want to jinx myself depending on where I end up. All right, so the second tab on my giant spreadsheet is for PhD programs specifically, and I color-coded these. I forgot to mention that for the master's programs, the teal ones are the ones I'm likely applying to. But for my PhD ones, the reddish pink is for clinical psych PhDs, and then the purple is for social psychology PhDs. The reason I'm applying to both types of programs is because I'm very interested in researching sort of this intersection between our, needs for social connectedness and psychopathology, and there are people in both fields that are studying that particular idea. And so I, in these columns, just have the school, the type of program, whether social or clinical, my sort of odds of getting in. Then I have a preferred mentor, and then a link to that faculty member's webpage, as well as if they have updated whether they will be taking a student or not for fall of 2021. And then the reason I had to do that for PhD programs is because most of them function on this mentor apprenticeship sort of model. So I'm not necessarily applying to a university as a whole, but applying to be under that specific professor in their specific lab, and they're the ones that will be reading my application. So you have to usually denote on an application who you're most interested in working with. So that's sort of how I've been narrowing down my list. And just so you guys know, both of these lists will be getting significantly shorter as I go through and then add and subtract people and programs depending on who is admitting for the next cycle. The third tab on my big major spreadsheet is for jobs and work opportunities. I'm probably going to be using this a lot more in the late fall, in the spring, depending on how I'm feeling. I might also apply for jobs, whether for the summer or for the school year afterwards. I'm not really sure yet. And then my very last page on this is just for bookmarks. I really hate bookmarking things on my computer and in my browser for some reason. I just really need to reorganize that. So instead, I decided to put them all in here, and it's just like all kinds of things. I have like CV advice, examples I found online, advice, blogs, all sorts of things. And that's been really useful to keep all in one place as well. So just because my last spreadsheet is sort of a mess right now and a conglomerate of all of these ideas, I am using this template I've downloaded for free from a blog. I will link it down below. I believe it's called The Daily Psych, and it's a clinical psychology PhD student who's sort of listed out all of her, ideas, her advice, resources, things that she used. And this is a spreadsheet that you could probably download and then change around and adapt to what works best for you. But it's just very detailed in terms of application, materials and mentors, and also incorporating interviews. And I'm planning on using this in about a month or two when I have a more solid list of where I'm applying, rather than spending a lot of my energy filling out all of this information for schools that I am not for sure applying to yet, which is why I'm functioning on my first spreadsheet. But just so you know, this is something that I'm looking forward to doing as well. Having all of these sort of spreadsheets and options might be a little bit overkill and sort of overwhelming, but this is something I've been thinking about for a while now, and I just think it's so important to really spend your time doing your research in order to be an informed consumer. Graduate school is going to be a huge investment of time and also money if it's not a fully funded program, and I just really want to realistically think about all of my options, what makes the most sense. I want all of my money that I'm spending on application fees to be worth it, in the sense that I want to make sure that I have a good shot and it makes sense for me to apply to the places that I end up applying to. So these spreadsheets are really going to help me fine-tune that and decide where I want to invest. So the last major portion of my grad school application is the personal statement. And so I sort of don't really have a lot of advice on this, and I'm kind of going in blind. So I'm just taking a lot of advice from different people. I've outlined sort of advice I have from other people on how to structure it, and I'm just sort of slowly putting down bullet points for things I can think of that make sense to include in a personal statement. All of my clinical experience and research experience that I've had thus far, how that's led to me where I am today, and what I'm looking forward to pursuing in the future, hopefully at that particular program, is sort of how I'm structuring it. And I am going to have to tailor this particular personal statement to all of the schools I'm applying to. So wish me luck. It's going to take a long time, and I've just sort of gotten started, but I really hope that this has been helpful in understanding sort of all of the different aspects of graduate school applications that I'm currently organizing with. Of course, everyone does it differently, and there definitely is no one size fits all, but that's just what I've been up to for the last couple of months and will be up to for the next few. Hope this was helpful. Bye, guys.